This presentation will be about waves. You can create waves with a rope, or take heavy ropes and go to gym and to make such exercises with heavy ropes. You can make waves in opposite direction like this, on the same direction like this, or like this. But these are not real waves. Real waves, it's very easy to create on the water surface. Waves can be characterized by amplitude, wavelength, and velocity of propagation, but also frequency and period. High frequency corresponds to short wavelengths. Low frequency corresponds to long wavelengths of the waves. Here, how we can calculate wavelengths in meters. It is velocity of the wave divided frequency. Or you can use such a definition like frequency is equal to velocity divided wavelengths. When two waves interact, they interfere. They can interfere in constructive way and destructive way. In constructive way, the amplitude are increased. In destructive interference, the amplitudes are decreased. And if waves are of the same frequency and of the same amplitude, then we will get complete destructive interference. So no disturbance of the surface, water surface, will be in these areas. Very special case of the wave, it is so-called soliton. Soliton you can observe in channel with shallow water. Sometimes you can see such single wave or soliton on near the beach with shallow water. Solitons can interfere with each other, and then also they interfere in constructive way, so amplitude can be increased. Why solitons are important? Solitons can solitons can be seen as tsunami. Tsunami is a soliton. It is a single wave that propagates from the point of earthquake. Earthquake pushing water up, and then this displacement of water propagates to long distances, sometimes 1,000 kilometers. We can distinguish transverse waves and longitudinal waves. In transverse waves, particles of medium moving in the direction that's perpendicular to the surface, perpendicular to the direction of wave propagation. In longitudinal wave, particles displaced are in the direction of the wave propagation or opposite direction. Here, what waves are doing, they transfer energy. Energy moves constantly in longitudinal waves. For this wave, it moves from left to right. So media can be compressed or reduced density, refraction. Here we can schematically present it a sound wave. Sound wave is longitudinal wave. Then the area of higher density corresponds to increased pressure, and areas with decreased pressure correspond to less density. And atmospheric pressure, it is some average pressure of the air. And in this case, sound propagates from left to right. And motion of molecules going in the direction of the propagation and opposite direction of propagation. Sound can go from like music instrument to your ears, to other people. It goes from instrument. Very interesting case of waves can be in case of earthquakes. In earthquakes, it can be longitudinal wave, it can be also transverse wave, or superposition of both longitudinal wave and transverse wave. It can be S wave, like here, and in the S wave, the surface of the planet, the surface moves like in such direction, or it is more complicated movement, like here. We also can talk about electromagnetic waves. Electromagnetic waves, they don't need media to propagate. They propagate even in vacuum. Light is one particular case. Light is also electromagnetic wave, and we see electromagnetic waves. Light propagates from sun to our planet, and also from other stars. The frequencies of electromagnetic waves can be very low density and very high density. Very low density correspond to vibrations in ionosphere of our planet, and very high densities, very high frequencies correspond to X-rays and gamma rays. Electromagnetic waves, they have two components oscillating. It is magnetic field and electromagnetic field. The direction of the electrical and magnetic field are mutually perpendicular. Wavelengths, it is the same like for waves on the water surface, is distance between the maximum of the two maximums of the amplitude, or two minimum, or 0 points of here and here. So this is wavelengths. So if we will again come to visible spectrum, so we can see with our eyes only very narrow part of the spectrum of the electromagnetic waves, only very narrow. And in this range, we can see colors from red color, from dark red, to violet and purple. Wavelengths of this in visible light can be from 350 nanometers, 300 nanometers for deep violet or purple, to dark red. It is 700 nanometers. Actually, we cannot see wavelengths more than 700 nanometers, pardon. As I said, it is very narrow area of the all frequency range of electromagnetic waves, and we can distinguish ultraviolet rays, X-rays, gamma rays, and gamma rays are very, very short wavelengths and very high frequency and very high energy. Very high energy. We can talk about energy of the electromagnetic waves not in terms of intensity of the electromagnetic waves, but in terms of how much energy one photon transfer. Energy of photon is proportional to the frequency of the electromagnetic wave. And energy of very low frequency electromagnetic waves, like radio waves, can be very, very small. Here again, range of frequencies presented. So radio waves have frequency 1000 or about below 1 Hertz, and gamma rays have frequency 10 in power 22. Visible light is in narrow range of about 10 minus 7 meter, or some it's more convenient to express it in microns. Microns is 10 minus 6. And we can see wavelengths from about 0.3 micron or 0.35 micron to 0.7 micron. So it's again, when we're talking about electromagnetic waves, we also assume that electromagnetic waves can be photons. very simple experiment, physical experiment, show that light can be can work as photons. Such simple experiment was done in the beginning of 20th century. There was some vacuum lamp with cathode and anode connected to electrical current to the battery, and some sensor, meter of current was connected to the chain. And then when the cathode was illuminated by light, interesting phenomenon was observed. When light was red color, there was no emission of electrons from the cathode. But then when light was blue color, there was emission. So the higher the frequency of the electromagnetic wave was, the higher was energy of electrons which are emitted from cathode. So it is definitely indication that light can be photons, but light can be also waves. This is strange but okay, it is accepted that light can work as photons and light can work with waves, as waves. Interesting characteristic of the waves that the waves interfere. And very simple experiment show how waves interfere. If we take source of light, like a laser pointer, and illuminate double slit, two narrow slits, S1 and S2, then at the distance screen, we see the picture of interference of two waves. One wave is coming from slit S1, other wave coming from slit S2. And at the screen, we have this double slit pattern. It's very special. So when waves interfere, they create such kind of pattern. In single slit pattern is different. It looks like this. So if only one slit, then there is no interference, but there is such diffraction pattern only. So these experiments demonstrate that light can be represented by a wave. But then scientists made such experiments that they used electron beam gun, so source of electrons, and electrons were coming through double slit, two slits, this and this. Interesting enough that at the screen such interference pattern was detected, the same like for light, almost the same. But because this screen was with photoemulsion, and this screen was sensitive to electrons. The higher density of electrons will correspond to darker line on the screen. So this experiment show that electrons can be waves. So this is quite strange. So electrons can be waves the same way like light. Light is a wave and photon, and electron can be also as electron, a particle, elementary particle, and also as a wave. So, but it is a little bit strange how electron can be, in one case, electron, particle, in other case will be wave. So then scientists little bit made the experiment little bit more complicated to understand, because wave, the property of the wave, that wave goes through two slits simultaneously. Wave from one source of waves, in this case one source of electrons, and then wave interfere with each other with the same wave which is coming from another slit, and then we have this interference pattern. So okay, waves can propagate through two slits. It is easy to understand. But if electron is a particle, how can one electron to go through two slits simultaneously. It is not real. Electron has size, very small size, but it has a position also, moreover, determined position. And we cannot say that electron, one particle, can go simultaneously through two slits. But in experiments, it was so, because if the source of electrons work and emit 1 electron per second, so let's say very slow source of electrons, we have exactly the situation that one electron interferes with the same electron, so that it looks like electron coming through two slits simultaneously. It behaves like a wave. But then, okay, scientists decided, okay, we will use some simple detector which will not disturb electrons, but we can say what way one electron from the source of these electrons coming. Is it coming through this wave or through this or simultaneously through two? We can detect it. But when this detector was used, the pattern was completely different. Instead of interference, there was pattern with two maximus. Two maximus, it is exactly like here, single slit pattern, and if it would be two slit, it will be, in case of particles, it will be two maximus. The picture should be like this. So it is very strange that we changed nothing in an experiment. We just tried to understand how electron behaves, how it is possible that one electron coming through simultaneously through two slits. And as soon as we started to observe it, the experiment, picture changed. It shows very, very interesting phenomena that we as humans, when we are observing something, so when we observing something, we are witnessing something, we change behavior of electron. Moreover, in quantum physics, there is such theory that humans are so special. Humans change universe. Universe without humans behave as in quantum mechanical way. In quantum mechanical way, it means that universe exists as vibrations, as waves. And these waves propagate and they are distributed through all universe and simultaneously. The signal goes through these waves simultaneously. There is no time delay to get information from one part of the universe to another part of the universe. But it is completely different from opinion that we have particles. We have material world. In the material world, information or particles cannot propagate at infinite velocity. They will also always have maximum velocity, which is light of the speed of light. So strange. So quantum mechanics propose that without observer, the universe behaves not as a real world, but behaves as quantum mechanical substance, and it behaves as energy and vibrations. And we can talk only about probability that universe is in one state or another state, etc. And there is opinion of multiple universes, multiple parallel universes. So in quantum mechanics, universe exists not in one real realization, in one what we see in the real world, but it exists in infinite number of realization. So different realization of the universe, they differ from each other. So these events in different versions of the universe are different. A number of these parallel universes are also infinite. This sounds so strange to humans because we live in the real world, and our presence turns this quantum mechanical universe, which is waves, and that universe is all connected. It turns to real world, when we have maximum speed of information propagation, this speed of light, and we have real object with masses and with position. Okay, there was also very interesting such idea to use about a cat. A cat, if it is quantum mechanical cat can exist in two states. It is dead or alive. So one parallel universe. In one parallel universe, cat is alive. In other parallel universe, cat is dead. And in quantum mechanical sense, two parallel universes exist simultaneously. So cat in quantum mechanics exists in both two states. In one state it is dead, in another state it is alive. So this is so much different from what we are thinking about the universe. So without humans, cat will be both dead and alive. Yeah. So this picture represents so-called Shakespeare cat, and it's like Hamlet. Hamlet is cat is thinking, okay, to be or not to be, to die or to be alive. Yes. But Schrödinger cat is simultaneously in two states, dead and alive, together. In one parallel universe it is dead, in other parallel universe it is alive. It also brings us to the theory of the Big Bang. Big Bang, it is a theory of universe creation. How universe was created from some singularity. It's actually from nothing, and then it started to expand, and it is expanding yet till now, so that actually the rate of expansion is growing. It is again something which we cannot understand. Why universe is expanding with acceleration? So expanding more and more at higher and higher speed, because some simple consideration should represent universe as some periodical pulsating universe. It was created from singularity, then it is going to expand to some maximum, and then it is collapsing, etc., etc. So and then we have periodical moments of creation of the universe and collapsing of the universe. But in our universe, the universe behaves completely different. And it looks like the different behavior can be explained. It is not explained, it's like just people think that it can be explained by presence of so-called black energy and black matter. So we know very little about black energy and black matter. Actually, black means not something dark or bad in spiritual sense, but it is just we know nothing about this. And some properties of the dark energy maybe correspond to some kind of quantum mechanical nature of the universe. And so that it maybe it is represents that universe yet in such special quantum mechanical state. We cannot see it because we are in the real world, but this represents this 85% of the energy of the universe. We cannot see, but it is yet present, and it is yet changing the real universe. Well, science is, again, cannot explain many things, but I would say science is corrupted, because some people have, in science, people have, professional scientists have different opinions. Some opinion can be dominating, and some other opinion can be suppressed by propaganda, by people who have money, influence. And in particular, there is idea about gravitational waves. Gravitational waves are a consequence of, to represent our universe, and space in this universe is something what you can bend, you can disturb. How can you disturb space? It has absolutely no sense. But from viewpoint of Einstein theory, the general theory of relativity, the universe, space in the universe can be disturbed. And this disturbing of the space can propagate as gravitational waves. To my opinion, again, there are many professional scientists who believe that it is nonsense. Space cannot be disturbed. Space is not energy, space is space, it is just coordinates. But nevertheless, some people got Nobel Prize winner for experiment which is not very certain, absolutely not certain. It can be explained in many different ways. But some people got Nobel Prize for experiment which, in their opinion, shows that such waves of gravitational waves can propagate, and then that the theory of the general theory of relativity is correct. I believe that it's not correct, and I saw in such opinion from age of 15 when I tried to understand this special theory of relativity and general theory of relativity, and I came to conclusions that it is completely wrong idea. And again, as I said, many scientists, very serious scientists and theoreticians, believe that this theory of relativity is wrong. And another Nobel Prize was awarded to some simple picture which has no meaning. Again, people say that it is a picture of so-called black hole. And black hole is this singularity of where space is disturbed so much that it is like space is deformed so much that there is singularity, like a hole in the universe. But again, from viewpoint of general sense and also quantum physics, there cannot be singularity. Singularity, in conditions of singularity, laws of physics do not work. It is impossible. But okay, they made such picture and got money. And meanwhile, I am proud that during my PhD thesis, I worked on very interesting phenomena. It is about thermonuclear reactions and about how to explain how a sun is working. And I made model experiments and demonstrated first demonstration of the new phenomena which show that our sun is actually made from condensed matter. It is not a ball of gas, as there is dominating opinion that sun is a ball of gas and thermonuclear reactions are happening in the center of the sun, where density of the gas is high, temperature also very high. No, in our opinion, it was that thermonuclear reactions are happening not so far from the surface, outer surface of the sun. And in my model experiments, I didn't demonstrate that thermonuclear reactions can happen. Other people did it. Other people demonstrated that thermonuclear reactions don't need very high temperatures and very high densities. They can go at relatively low temperatures and in condensed matter. And this phenomenon people call cold fusion. Cold fusion, it is like fusion of deuterium atoms in condensed matter, inside of dense matter. And unfortunately, dominating opinion is such that it is impossible, despite experiments and despite of experiments that it works. This was suppressed, and my observations also were suppressed. Despite all the experimental evidence, you cannot deny an experimental evidence, but it was just forgotten, suppressed. Recently, information about this phenomena was published in the book of Anisimov. He was a theoretician I worked with, and Kokhlov is another guy who is director of the Institute of General Physics in Moscow. So I worked with these theoreticians, and I was doing experiment, and there was 3 theoreticians. Okay, then again, science is strange area, and it can be corrupted, and the science exists only if there is free discussion of the opinion. Unfortunately, science got corrupted, and instead of free discussions of the opinion, free that exchange of opinion, and then coming looking for truth, science got corrupted so that some opinions are suppressed, and then it is you cannot mention them, and this called science. Science is free discussion, always based on free discussions, and suppression of some opinion. For example, our opinion is not very good because humankind, the people, already lost a lot of money trying to reproduce thermonuclear reactions in the gas phase, and it didn't work. From 70 years ago, such experiments started with no success till now. A lot of money was spent on it and no success. Meanwhile, cold fusion does not need much money, and this research can be done relatively cheap, and we just don't go this way. Again, this is I believe corruption, and I believe that it is very bad luck, and I explain it by biology. Biology is genetical degeneration of human race, our society, and it is coming to some catastrophe, the collapse of civilization, and this collapse of civilization, according to cycles of the civilization development, should start 2014. So they started 8 years ago, and they may continue till 2040s, and so next maybe 20 years we will have very hard time when there will be positive selection. Positive selection, it means all people who are not enough smart, not people who corrupted, will be just exterminated somehow. I don't know how it will be. Probably food shortages, probably some wars, conflicts, and because in 2014 war started simultaneously. Russia attacked Ukraine in 2014, and Germany was attacked by migrants from Africa and Middle East. I consider it as start of the war, because these migrants were not refugees. These were not women and children. These were men of young age, and these men of young age are soldiers. They're soldiers. They're invaders. So the Germany in the state of war, and we will see a sharp reduction in population in Europe, as it always happened every 100 years. And this is why I moved from Germany to this country, and I expect that next 20 years will be very hard time. Okay, then this is all presentation about waves. I just want to go a little bit to one video clip, and to remind people that we have very, pardon me, so let's see, go, and this movie Matrix, you probably remember the scene about bending of spoons, yeah? And boy said to Neo, just watch what he said. Do not try to bend spoon. It is impossible. Instead, only try to realize the truth. There is no spoon. There is no real world. Yes, so it's not spoon will be bent, but it is yourself. It is everything in your mind. Humans have ability to change universe. Okay, this is complicated questions. Maybe we will come to this discussion later on. But it really represents the power. Our power, pardon me, represents power of human beings. Okay, that's all. Thank you.